Hey guys, thanks for tuning back into Pixel Rich Games, where we strive and make it super hard, super fun. This episode of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is finally my tier list. To be honest, I pushed back on doing this for so long because I didn't want to give any of you my opinion. That would have probably changed once I get more playtime in, and which I think has been done so many times by big channels just for the sake of views. Friendly advice: if you see tier lists that come out so close to a game's release date, even if they were given a copy in advance, just take those with not a grain but with a whole bag of salt. So before we begin, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet and help this channel reach more Age of Calamity players out there. Now, another thing that we'll be doing differently is the list itself. I don't want to just go to tier list maker and lump everything into one huge bag of characters like this usually goes, but instead, I just want to list down the best ones depending on different in-game goals that we go through. So the first category that I want to go through is material farming. So for clarity's sake, what I'm talking about here is not just your casual farming. I'm talking about food buff, full farming build weapon type of material farming. So if you're thinking of a champion like Impa, just think of playing her with 0 attack speed. I guarantee you, she's not that fun. Okay, let's talk about the better farmers first. Coming in last on this list is our bro you know bro. This bro made the list because he's the only champion in this game that I feel like can get too fast. On the flip side, dropping to 0% attack speed is still manageable for this guy. Another huge factor to consider is his kit. It's simply designed to obliterate waves and waves of monsters, and on top of that, he's got the glitched Infinity Gauntlet that just does insane amounts of damage that has an equally insane wide area of effect. Next up is One-Handed Weapon Link. One-Handed Link just feels a bit heavy without attack speed, but his kit is just too solidly built that he's still so effective with 0 attack speed. He's got his 4Y2X, which sucks everything in before finishing with a big blow, making farming so much faster. Then for boss fighting at the end of the missions, he has Perfect Guard and Flurry of Arrows that are both great tools to open big damage windows. After better, of course, comes the best. For this tier, my winner is Riju. This champion isn't primarily built with attack speed, and this fact plays a huge factor why she's so good to use in material farming. Using farming builds on her doesn't make her feel sluggish like in most characters, which is definitely a huge plus. Then, she's almost always in dash mode, which makes her mobility top class. On top of these, she also has Perfect Guard and her insane somersault kick for boss fights. Our next category is for champions that excel in 1v1s. Last on this list is a personal favorite. Yep, Master Koga, boys and girls. If you haven't seen my Master Koga vids, you probably think he sucks, and that's where you're severely mistaken. I gotta admit, this guy's damage output isn't up there. But if you factor in the fact that he can cleanly control 1v1 fights, he's definitely on this list. Actually, if he had a bit more DPS, I'd probably put him in number 2. Going one step up is Cycle Zelda. She's innately fast, she has good damage, her remote bomb is top class, her stasis doesn't need a dodge cancel, and then her 2Y2X is just so good for destroying weak point meters. The only thing that I don't like about Cycle Zelda is she sometimes ends up in weird places with her 4Y2X. Next up is Spear Link with his glitch. Spear Link alone without the glitch wouldn't make this list, so if you don't like playing with glitches, just ignore this part. Now, if you don't know how strong Spear Link's glitch is, I suggest to check out my vid on that. It obviously doesn't make him the best, but it more than compensates for his biggest weakness, single target damage. Next we have Two-Handed Weapon Link. No janky build here, okay? I'm talking about full attack speed two-handed weapon link. You guys, he's got the immortal combo. Again, if you don't know what that is, I'll add this to the link of my other vid so you can have a look. Having a very long window of damage immunity alone can land him this spot. Now top that with his DPS, he absolutely deserves this spot. Next up, one-handed weapon link. One-handed Link's simply good at everything. He isn't the best for anything, but he's definitely up there. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not a jack of all trades, master of none. He's above average in everything. One-handed Link that sucked at something is simply impossible. Like, people won't play this game if he's not good. Okay, now let's talk about the best of the best. This starts with Teba. There are only two reasons why this bird is this high on this list. One, his stasis is absolutely broken. Two, the damage from his 5y2x is also absolutely broken. The only reason that I wouldn't rank him higher is because his control of fights isn't top class. And that's this champion's flaw. Next is another bro, the owner of the smile that launched 1,000 ships, Sidon. His kit is just so good. With enough attack speed, only one thought would be in your mind when boss fighting with him. Should I destroy this with 4y2x or 5y2x? That's all! Like I said earlier, Master Koga controls fights with his abilities. This dude on the other hand controls fights with brute force. It's that simple. Next up we have the Calamity himself. This guy's just brutal, period. You can do garbage builds with him, like regular attack damage, and he'll still be awesome. He's outstanding at controlling his enemies with his magnesis. He has one of the best remote bombs in the game. His AoE is also great. Weak point exposed options are so many. Then he still has very good damage to top everything off. One minor thing that I don't like about him is he's so big, which makes it a bit more challenging for me to do flurry rushes. Okay, finally we get to the winner of this category, or should I say winners. The Great Fairies. Yes, they were nerfed, but they're that strong, they still take the top spot. If you're scratching your head wondering why I'm saying this, then you're probably playing them wrong. Their damage output is so high that they don't even need tricks to control fights. Just go full ham with Gotera and friends, and I'm sure enemies will die in seconds without you even trying. Given you play them correctly, okay? Another one to add to the list of links for this vid. Okay, if you see a tier list out there that doesn't have the Great Fairies as the top champion by a million miles, I have full confidence that they don't know what they're talking about. That's how unquestionably strong this champion is, period. We're not done yet, we're just halfway there. Since wave 1, this next category has become more relevant than before. This is for champions that excel in 1v many fights. Now, this category is for the pros. Number 4 on the list is Sidon. Like I said earlier, his 4y2x and 5y2x are just too good. Solid crowd control, consistent weak point exposes, AoE on this attacks are also really good. And this boy's movements are just so fluid that it makes it easier for us to do perfect dodges. Number 3 goes to Bro. Multiple bosses is not a problem for this guy. His only problem is getting the orange shield. You know, the classic looking one. Once he has it, the Infinity Gauntlet glitch just rips through everything. Now, if you don't like glitching, just skip Yunobo for this category. Second on the list is one-handed weapon link. Yup, he's just that good. Flurry of Arrows just does wonders when fighting multiple bosses at once. You just need to take advantage of this to divide and conquer. No need to play like a wuss just running around waiting for stasis to come off cooldown. One-handed Link's way stronger than that. So many options at our disposal, we just need to use them correctly. Now the winner in this category, again, it's the Calamity. I mean, there's a reason why he's called a Calamity, right? Prior to Wave 1, there were two main builds for him. Either you went with strong attack damage or with attack speed. When fighting with more than one boss at once, I absolutely prefer to go with attack speed. He's my top dog here for the same reasons that I mentioned earlier. If I had to pick just one reason for everything that's awesome about him, I'd say it's his magnesis. It's the only magnesis in the game that's useful, super useful at that. Okay, before we talk about the other categories, let me briefly go through the list of characters that did not make it in any category. Battle-tested Guardian. 1, too slow. Then 2, his ZR, which is his strength, is also his weakness. Daruk. This one really made me sad. His kit is simply underwhelming. Hestu. Hestu's an auto attacker, which makes him really good for practicing perfect dodges. Being an auto attacker also means another thing. His combo finishers aren't that good. Mipha. There's a glitch for her that made her a lot stronger, but I never learned that because I didn't want to, so I'm just talking about Mipha without the glitch here. I think she's actually decent, and I also think that it's the game that didn't give her a chance to shine. What I'm trying to say is, she should be so good if multiplayer is actually decent in this game. Monk Maz. Same reason as the Guardian, too slow. Better, I would say, because he doesn't need to lock onto a target. Revali. He's average and his Flurry Rush isn't good. His skills also work against him. We want to keep him airborne, but his skills want him on the ground. Last is Urbosa. She's actually good, but not good enough to top the others. Alright, for our next category, the best all-around champion. Well, this was pretty obvious, I would say. No one fits the bill better than one-handed Weapon Link. If you haven't noticed yet, he's actually on every list so far. So, if you only have enough time to invest in just one champion, one-handed Weapon Link is your guy, plain and simple. Now, the next category is subjective, because these are the most fun champions for me. King Roam comes in at number 4. I'm a huge fan of MMOs, and King Roam just feels like that. My attention gets divided between watching enemies as we fight and try to chain combos as best as I can, and that's really fun for me. Next is Impa. Who wouldn't want to play with a ninja with Kagebunshin skills like Naruto? Next is Flail Link. What I really love about Flail Link is his flexibility. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to build him, and I'm gonna make vids around that topic soon, so stay tuned for those. The number 1 most fun character for me is hands down Master Koga. From the first time I played him, I knew this one's made for me. His kit's just so fun and funny to play around with. Again, if you want to learn how to play him, I'll leave links to his guides. For our last category, this was for the best companion. Have you ever tried playing, let's say, the Great Fairies, Calamity Ganon, with the battle-tested Guardian in your team, and a mission that takes place in Hyrule Castle? If you haven't, let me tell you that this is a total nightmare. Everyone's blocking your path, and you'll have to wait till they make way. So this award goes to Terako, the companion that will never block your way. It's even with Link all the time. That's how good he is. Alright, check out the description for all the links that I mentioned earlier. Thanks again for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you liked what you saw. If not, just do me a favor by liking the video all the same. Hit that bell to get notified whenever I have new content out. See you on the next vid, guys. Stay healthy, keep safe, and God bless us all.